Be the change you want to see. Make a difference by giving your money a purpose, a mission to do good. Welcome to Money with Mission, where we talk to individuals, businesses, and organizations who are taking the lead and whose actions are impacting the well-being of their communities and the world at large.
It is Money with Mission's birthday. I can't believe a year has passed since we launched on this endeavor to share with the world investing for financial return and social impact. I need to thank so many for their help behind the scenes. A lot goes into getting the show out to you. Thank you to every guest. Your shares have been informative and I am sure life-changing for some. And thank you, listeners. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your feedback. Please continue. Let me know how we can better serve you. Our goal is to help you get started or to increase the impact your investments have to your bottom line and the world. Happy birthday to Money with Mission.
The dollar, the African-American dollar circulated in that area, it took weeks for it to leave that actual community when someone came in. Now they say it takes 6 seconds to once a dollar comes into a Black community, it leaves and goes into the white community. But during that time in Black Wall Street, it took weeks at a time for those dollars to actually leave the community. At multiple different businesses in there, from your shoe shine parlor to barbershops to your doctors, your law firms, like I said, restaurants, private jets, bus lines, multiple churches. It was just a thriving community.
Okay. And from the pictures that I saw, if I compare it to something I've seen recently, that's Oregon with some of the neighborhoods that are burned down. Once it was demolished, it was demolished. It was not a little bit torn down. The whole area was gone. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. It was one of the only times, and maybe the only time in history that they actually dropped bombs on a community. And it was about 100 acres that was totally burned down in the midst of this massacre.
So let's just talk a little bit about the ripple effect of that. Let's say, okay, so how do you think that massacre has contributed to the demographics of North Tulsa now?
Oh, it has affected it drastically, really. From a poverty standpoint, it never really came out of that economically, and then just the stigma of like people's mentality of it, and just policies that was put in place for that area to never rebound. It affected the community long term. So when we talk about systemic racism, they begin to create systems and policies and within the city to prevent economic growth in that particular area. And by them doing that, crime goes up, the living wages goes down in the area, so crime goes up, poverty goes up. And so now it has created this stigma that you have this one part of town it's not safe, it's not a good place to invest. When I first moved to Tulsa, my realtor, I knew absolutely nothing about Tulsa. But the first thing she said out of her mouth is, "You don't want to be in North Tulsa." And I was like, why not? I was moving here from Atlanta, Georgia, so I didn't know the difference. So why did you even feel the need to even tell me that? But in every facet, they want to deter you from that part of town. And honestly, I saw it after moving here. I saw that. I was like, man, this is nothing but opportunity here because no one wants to be here.
You said a lot, and it's really bothersome to me that, so back to the first part where you're talking about the dollar circulating, I don't think people really think about how our money circulates and how any money really stays in one particular area or travels around the world or anything like that, and how that affects anyone. That's a big thing that you brought up. And then the fact that, I talk a lot about ripple effects, and, we talk about ripple effects as a positive. We can talk about ripple effects as a negative, but that massacre has taken away years of generational wealth. We had those folks that were doing
Yeah.
so well. And now,
Mm-hmm.
once that was burned down, they couldn't come back. And like you said, the mentality, the beat down, it's so complicated, so complicated. The policies that were put in place. Like, I think there was a highway that was built that cut off the city, and just different things
they
like
ran
that.
it right down the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, people, they say all the time, oh, the other side of the tracks. Well, there, like, it's a freeway. And there is a distinct difference if you drive. I tell people all the time, like, start in South Tulsa and then drive north, and at nighttime is honestly the best way to see it. And you will see, all these neon lights from all these businesses and just thriving stuff that goes on. And once you go under the underpass, it gets pitch black. And it's most noticeable at nighttime because of just the difference in them just not being able to, the economic growth is not existing. Like, this is the line, 244.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. Like, just the issues that it has had, the generational effect of families that, they see that, oh, we tried to revitalize, we tried to bring back businesses, but there are policies that's put in place that will prevent us from being able to grow.
Make it much more difficult.
Yeah, make it much more difficult. Whether it's, we want to start a company. Like, I remember I was talking to a lady, I said probably about 10 years ago, and I remember her saying how her grandfather had a business on this certain corner in North Tulsa. And they came through this community revitalization program, and they rezoned everything. And so his store had closed, and she was wanting to buy it. They still owned it. They still had, because it was passed down to her after he passed away. She wanted to open up a store. Well, they wouldn't let her, because now that commercial district has been zoned for residential. Wow. And then through the zoning, they would not allow her to rezone it to commercial, and to basically return it back to commercial. And but there are things around it that are commercial, but those wasn't Black-owned businesses. And so just to see the systemic things that was intentionally put in place to prevent growth, especially from Black business owners in the area. It's just amazing to kind of see how blatant and in your face it was there. And it has, because of administration change, it's gotten a lot better, but we still have a ways to go.
So I've been to Tulsa. I've been to Tulsa actually quite a bit, and I haven't lived there. Tim's lived there for how many years now, Tim?
16 years.
16 years. So I'm an outsider, I'm just going to call it. I don't see the things the way Tim sees them. So I have seen the darkness of North Tulsa compared to South Tulsa, and some of the policies and those kinds of things I don't see. So I really appreciate you sharing that, because I know that those same kinds of things happen in other neighborhoods and other cities across the country. And people from the outside, people look out and say, what do you mean systematic or systemic racism? What do you mean? And it's not just about looking at somebody as their skin and saying, you're a Black person, or you're an Indian person, or you're a Mexican person, or whatever. And that racism, that's more in your face racism. It's that under the policies and the government and how things have been driven and put into place that make it difficult for people to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Money with Mission is a real estate and business investment company that specializes in finding projects that have the potential to give you a great return on your investment dollar and make an impact in the communities where we invest. Make a difference in your life and the lives of others. Go to moneywithmission.com to learn more. Tell me how you're working to make that better, though. Tell me about the Dream Center, which is an amazing place in Tulsa. And Tim is not the guy to sit back and think about how bad things are. He's a person looking for a solution to a problem. So talk about that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. With my background being in engineering, I like solving problems. And the Tulsa Dream Center, it is a community outreach located in North Tulsa, area cross streets of 46th Street North and Martin Luther King Boulevard. And the best way to describe it is we're like a Boys and Girls Club with social services wrapped around. We have after school programs for boys and girls. We do tutoring for them. We have recreation programs with leagues, basketball leagues, baseball, flag football, soccer, different recreation things for boys and girls. But then we also have our services type aspects that we have, where we have a medical clinic where people, they can come and they can get medical attention for all those that, like, with no insurance at all. They can be seen through our medical clinic. We have free legal aid. We do hot meals where a lot of seniors come and they eat a hot meal at the Dream Center. We also give out groceries. Right now, just during the COVID times, we're giving out over 5.4 million meals to individuals with the last 24 weeks of COVID. And so
Say
we're
that
in that
number
number.
again. Say that number again.
5.4 million
Million
meals.
meals.
Million meals.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And it continues to go up every single day.
And that's been since when? Since March?
Yes, since March.
Okay.
Since March of 2020.
And before that, how many meals did you provide?
I typically not 5.4 million. I'll say that. I mean, in a year time span, we may have given out a few 100,000.
Okay.
I'll say maybe 300,000.
Okay.
But now, like, we're doing 2,700 meals per day with boys and girls, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just that alone has just blew up in comparison to, we used to do 300 meals a day.
Okay.
Girls.
2,700 meals. Okay. And for some people, this is, let's say before COVID, I remember you telling me that for some kids, this was the only place they really got a hot meal. They may get some breakfast at school or lunch and then come there for their hot meal, their tutoring, their recreation, keep them out of trouble, just those kinds of things, correct?
Yeah, for during the times of like typically boys and girls, they get their meals from the public schools. Right now, 100% of the boys and girls in the community we serve are on what you call free lunch. Okay. And they're not even on reduced lunch. So that means that they're all, at or below the level of poverty.
Okay.
And it's a federal feeding program. And being that all of them on free lunch, that means most of them, the parents don't really have the funds to adequately feed their boys and girls. We're in what you call a food desert. There's not any quality grocery stores in our area. I know there's some efforts to change that right now. We're really excited about that. But our boys and girls are not, right now, the parents are not able to buy good quality food for them. And so they're eating at school most of the time. And so what we've been able to do is to provide meals for our boys and girls in the evening time. Before COVID, was providing meals for them on the evening time as well as on Saturdays and Sundays. And so we'll have a time where they'll come in on a Saturday. We can give them breakfast, lunch, and then we'll give them a meal. They'll some take back home meals or backpack meals, so they can take home with them on Sunday, and then we'll see them again on that following Monday.
Wow.
But now that COVID has taken place and school is not in session and everyone's on distance learning now, we're wanting to and we need to still provide meals for our boys and girls. So during that time, we're taking advantage of this time and saying, okay, like let's continue to feed our boys and girls, but we will just take it to them door to door. So I say we have the largest Uber Eats program in North Tulsa, where we're dropping off meals door to door to our boys and girls every day.
I didn't realize you guys were doing that. I thought people had to come and pick it up. That's really cool.
Yeah, we have a few that comes and pick it up, but most of them
you deliver.
Yes, ma'am.
How is the distance learning working for those kids that have poor internet, and how is that working for them?
And the first I would say rollout of distance learning back in March when the quarantine first took place, it was non-existent. Mm-hmm. 80% of our families did not even have internet access at home. The closest thing they had to internet was their phone.
Okay.
I was really critical at the time with our public school system because they told everyone, oh, we have internet. We've surveyed all our parents and they said they have internet access. But what they failed to realize is that our parents was answering those surveys. It was an online survey that was being done, and most of them was doing the survey on their phones. And so obviously, if you do an online survey asking you if you have internet access, well, what are the people that's able to answer your survey is the ones
They have
that
internet service. Yes.
they have internet access.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like, this is easy math. Like, but they were so like, oh yeah, internet is no problem. And then when they really started drilling down to things, they realized that, man, like most of our families do not have internet access. And that just turned out to be about 80%, but a little over 80% of our families in the North Tulsa area did not have internet access outside of their mobile device. And so, but distance learning, it has been going slow. We have a program called a Hope Center, where we're allowing boys and girls to come to the Dream Center to have a place that they can do their studies safely, and they don't have to be at home by themselves. And there'll also be leaders that'll be present at the building that will allow them to do their schoolwork while they're there. And so that's what we're doing right now for distance learning to help support our families and the boys and girls in our community.
Hey Felicia, this is Billy Keels from the Going Long podcast, and congratulations to you for 1 year of an absolutely amazing podcast, Money with Mission. Just to think you had this in your mind, this was an idea, and so glad that you decided to take your message out, have amazing guests, and really help people to understand that life is about much more than money. It's really making sure that the money has a mission. So congratulations to you, and looking forward to many more years to come.
So that's how you guys overcome it, not necessarily getting the internet service to their houses, but giving them a safe place to come to do the work they need to do.
Correct, a little bit of both. We also was on this initiative with the city of Tulsa where we were able to push some policies to help roll out internet within our communities. They did some mobile Wi-Fi setups, and also we received some CARES Act funds to be able to take hotspots into the homes for the boys and girls. But even then, like the hotspots, they're great for a laptop, but then when you have a family of 3 or 4 students and they're all on the internet, that hotspot becomes getting bogged down pretty quickly. And also, like these parents, like they need to go to work, and we really don't want them to be at home by themselves. And so, we had 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds literally at home by themselves. And I know, like when I was growing up, that was normal, right? But it's a different world. It's 2020. And no longer can a 7 or 8-year-old be at home by themselves, or should be at home by themselves. Yeah. And so, so it's a different, because it's a different world. Like we want to provide a safe place for our boys and girls to be, even though they may have a hotspot at home where they can, they have their internet access at home now because the hotspot is there. Yeah. And we had kids we had a couple of house fires that took place because kids were at home by themselves.
A couple of house fires, is that what you said? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you can imagine, kid get hungry. They pop something in the oven, or, put something in the microwave. One was a small house fire that happened actually just a week ago. It put something aluminum, like a fork or something like that, in the microwave. And that caused a fire, and the fire department was able to put it out without it destroying the whole entire house, but there's a lot of smoke damage. And so we spent the weekend cleaning the house up, so they can live in the house without smelling like smoking.
Everyone was safe.
The kids ran out and everything, and no one was injured, but it just shows like how dangerous it is for our boys and girls to be staying at home by themselves while their parents are working. Yeah.
I was thinking back when we were, I know you're younger than me, but when I was 7 years old, I don't think I stayed home by myself, but it's different. It would be different to me now. Even if my children were 7 years old, to stay home, for a little bit, fine, but to stay home and supposed to be going to school and doing schoolwork, that's not going to happen to the 7 and 8-year-old. That's
Oh,
just not going to happen.
yeah.
That's TV time.
Exactly. That's what they find out. A lot of the boys and girls, they're not even getting online.
Yeah.
Once we open up our Hope Center, the percentage of boys and girls actually participating is shot
Went up. Wow.
because now you have someone that's there that's going to say, hey, all right, now time you're supposed to be doing this. Now this time you're supposed to be doing this. Now let's go ahead and log in. We have math coming up. Get online with the teacher. And but without that, I mean, are we really expecting? I wouldn't. When I was their age, I wouldn't have done it either.
No. And the other thing is that now they're there with other kids who are also doing the same work, so they're driven to actually get some stuff done as opposed to
Exactly.
I'm bored.
Exactly.
What so one more thing about the Dream Center. So I think you see the Dream Center is recreation, education, medical, and legal, correct? To cover all those things, as well as meals. And you have a store also, don't you, that provides some clothing?
Yes, we have clothing. We have a clothing room as well. We received this. It was an initiative that the whole city went after, a financial empowerment grant. Mm-hmm. We have financial counselors that are present on site to help people with their credit, help them with budgeting, different aspects of just finances. We do financial empowerment. We have what we call a financial empowerment center.
Okay.
And we also do what do you call it? Workforce development. We partner with a couple of workforce agencies that they come to the Dream Center and they offer resume writing classes and also mock interviews, and then they would do live interviews there on site. We also do GED classes and adult literacy classes as well. And so we do just a number of different things. And really, it's like let's address, like we understand poverty is an issue. Yes. But what are the things that is causing it? So we want to kind of go after the cause, and not the effect, and to be able to take care of those now needs. But that's why education is so important. I believe that education is a great equalizer. When I was younger and I thought I was smarter than my grandparents, and I chose to drop out of high school, and I learned really quickly that I wasn't going to get too far without getting
something more.
Yes, I needed something more than my 9th grade education. Okay. And so that 9th grade education wasn't going to get me there. And the only way that I was going to be able to really be where I needed to be, it was going to require me to get a degree and to get a high school diploma and to push myself to go further. And I know the more and more that I can do that with my boys and girls and families that we're impacting, the better. And so we also try to get them to expand their minds and say, what can you do, and what programs or services that we have can help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, oh my gosh. One more time, you said so many things talking about it's not just taking a person who has no money and saying you have no money and here's some food and here's some medical care and here's some school. There's so much more happening there. It's like, yes, you don't have money. Here are ways that this can change. This is not a permanent situation unless that's what you want. And you at the Dream Center are affecting so many people outside of the 5.4 million meals that have been served. I don't know the numbers on the kids that you guys work with, but I know it's a lot, and that center is beautiful. Tell me how that center is funded.
And we're totally funded through grants and donors and individuals. We have this program called Dream Builders where they can give just a small amount. It could be $10, $25. We actually have a lady, she just passed away actually about a year and a half ago, and she would give $1.50 every single month. Wow. And it's interesting. I don't know how she set it up, but she continued to give $1.50 every single month and it's supposed to be set to do it for the next 5 or 10 years. And cause she didn't have much, but she wanted to just continue that legacy of giving. So I just kind of appreciate individuals like that, because it really shows that every little bit helps.
Yep.
Every little bit counts. And when we all come together to make something happen, it's not about you being this multi-millionaire and say, okay, now I can make a difference. Is that you can make a difference with the $10, with the $15, with the $20 a month. And actually, as we all come together, it makes great impact.
Yes. So money can have a mission, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot of money to have a mission. Now, Tulsa Dream Center is philanthropic. The impact you have will not be necessarily financial to you directly. However, when you impact the life of some young man, some young woman, some child, talking about ripple effects, you never know where that's going to end up. And think about if you don't do that and the ripple effect that you'll have from that. We see that stuff all the time. So just different ways to give your money. A mission, $1.50 a month from a lady who had hardly anything, but she wanted to have a difference, make a difference. That's amazing. I hope you enjoyed the interview and are inspired to give your money a mission. Until next time, send your investment dollars into the world to bring you a financial return and improve the lives of others.
You've been listening to Money with Mission. There are projects happening right now where you can make a great return while positively impacting the lives of others. To learn more about today's guest or to download 7 steps to building resilient wealth for women, visit www.moneywithmission.com.